What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Tier List Tuesdays, the series where I do a tier list within 8 minutes or less. But this time around, it looks like I might be going a little overtime. We'll see how it goes depending on how long these take. Just a quick disclaimer before I start. This isn't going to be a serious video. None of my tier lists really are. There's always kind of an element of tongue-in-cheek to it. I'm just saying that just in case somebody gets offended by some of the comments I might make about some of these states, But with that being said, let's begin the tier list. Okay, Alabama first. Ooh, that should not exist. There's incest, there's lots of nasty things. Alaska. I'm gonna say it's okay, because, they kind of got some creepy mysteries. Like, there's, 1 in 1,000 people every year disappears in Alaska or some shit. That's creepy. But other than that, beautiful sights, beautiful state parks. Arizona, I would say that is in the okay. Don't know much about it, but beautiful sights. Arkansas, shouldn't exist just because I don't know much about it. California should not exist. Okay, this one I'm gonna say unironically shouldn't exist, because if I'm gonna be honest, the fact that they passed a law where people with AIDS don't have to disclose whether they have it or not to their partner or someone else they're intimate with is just come on, that's just fucked up. But also, despite that, there's just a lot of crazy shit that goes on in California that honestly should just stay in California, and in my opinion, shouldn't even exist. Colorado, I'm gonna say pretty good. It's not one of the best, but they were one of the first to legalize marijuana, and they do also have the Rocky Mountains, which are very beautiful. So I'm gonna put that under the best, just under. For pretty good. Connecticut, I don't really know much about it. It's kind of a small state, but we're just gonna say it shouldn't exist, because small piece of land shouldn't exist. Delaware also shouldn't exist, not just because I always forget about it, but again, it's a sliver of land and there's not much anything. Okay, wait, you know what, we're gonna put it in bad. I barely think it exists, but it does have some historical significance. Same with Washington, D.C. It's kind of a drain the swamp, as they say. Honestly, I would put it under shouldn't exist, but then where would our government be at? It wouldn't exist. But it's bad, at the very least. The only good thing about D.C. is the museums, and even then, there's museums are kind of boring. Florida, one of the best states there is, unfortunately. I don't know how much more it'll be above water, but it has some of the most interesting men who make news headlines, and it has some of the best vacation spots. It's absolutely beautiful. 10 out of 10. Georgia, I don't know much about it. It does have good scenery and stuff. I'm gonna put in the okay, especially because some of the rap songs that come out of Georgia, good stuff. Hawaii. I always forgot this state. Ironically, I forget this state exists. I mean, honestly, I've never been there. I've always wanted to go there. I guess it'll be okay. I mean, they've got volcanoes. That's pretty cool and shit. Idaho, it's kind of bad. I mean, they've got nice scenery, but there's nothing there but potatoes. It's basically New Ireland, pretty much, except the people aren't even Irish. They don't even like beer or anything. They're just Americans, Illinois, it's okay. Chicago's a fun city to visit, never a fun city to live in, let me tell you. It's not great. I mean, I had family that lived there at one point in time, but yeah, it's nothing special. Indiana, bad. Only thing I remember Indiana for is, Indiana Jones or whatever, but, Mike Pence was their governor, and he's not, I'm not a fan of him. Iowa, shouldn't exist just because it's just cornfields. I mean, why? Why should a cornfield exist as a state? It's just a massive cornfield. Kansas. There's a reason Dorothy wanted to leave Kansas in The Wizard of Oz. I'm gonna say it shouldn't exist because not only is it just a barren wasteland of prairies and shit, but there's like tornadoes that go on. And that being said, with tornadoes, Oklahoma, where are you at? Yeah, you, sir, have the most tornadoes out of anybody, and not just the most, but the worst out of all of them. Kentucky, they got Kentucky Fried Chicken, so I guess it's pretty okay. Maine, I don't know much about Maine. Seems pretty out there. I heard they have good lobster though, so I'm gonna put them in okay. Probably gonna have it's gonna take a lot of criteria for me to put some of the states in the best. Louisiana, they do have New Orleans and like the jazz scene and whatnot, so we're gonna put them in okay. We're gonna give them an exception. They have really good spicy food. It's definitely a must-visit place. I've never been there yet, but it's on my bucket list and places to go. Maryland, they're pretty good. I heard housing there is pretty nice. Also Bethesda, game studios who have made some of my favorite games have their headquarters in Maryland. So, right there I'm going to make a pretty biased take on where I'm going to put them on the list. Massachusetts, they got Boston. Boston's pretty cool. They got nice people and stuff. Michigan, absolutely not. Dude, Michigan sucks. Their water, they had that whole thing with the water poisoning and the crime. And, dude, Michigan's just kind of like the shithole of America. Not gonna lie. Again, I'm kind of being satirical here, but you know how it is. Minnesota, as someone from Minnesota, I would have said a couple years ago that it's one of the best states to live in. It's pretty good, but right now, due to some laws, and I'm gonna be serious here, due to some laws, it's kind of putting Minnesota down. Excuse me, I had a voice crack. It's putting Minnesota down on the list. That being said, Mississippi, I think, is a very bad state. It's not as bad as Alabama, but it's pretty much on that level. Missouri, I don't really know much about Missouri. If some of you guys in the comments want to tell me, because it's been a long time since I've been in elementary when we learned about the states. They got an arch. That's pretty cool. So I guess it's an okay state to live in. Montana, people say there's not much out in Montana. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty much true. But that being said, what makes up for the population, it makes up in sites. So I'm gonna say it's a pretty good state. I've seen some pictures. My cousin used to live there. She said there was some cool stuff there that you could do. Nebraska shouldn't even exist. It's pretty much on the same level as Kansas and Iowa. It's like a mix of the two, actually. It's like, Nebraska's like that one love child that you never want to talk to again. Kind of like where you want to go all deadbeat dad mode and never show up again. So, that's like Nebraska. It's like the ugly love child of Kansas and Iowa. Nevada, I am going to have to say that it is one of the best states, not just because it has Las Vegas, which is a pretty good time, but it has some of the coolest deserts out there. And I actually heard a little creepy story about there's like this abandoned water park or whatever. Yeah, it's pretty cool. New Hampshire, let's see, where would New Hampshire go? I don't know much about New Hampshire. I'm gonna put it in okay just because I think it's a good state. I mean, there's a lot of rich assholes who go on vacation there, but that's it is what it is. New Jersey, shouldn't exist. There goes that saying where it smells really bad in New Jersey, and I'm not gonna lie, it does. I've never been in New Jersey, like actually stayed there, but I've driven through there a couple of times, and when I've gotten out of the car, rolled down the window, it absolutely smells like dog shit, so not the place you want to go. So it just kind of needs to be wiped off the map, or at least absorbed by another state. New Mexico, I'm gonna say it's pretty good. I've always wanted to go there. An American version of Mexico, hells yeah, dude. I mean, It seems like it's going to be a pretty fun place to go. I've seen pictures. New York, it's one of the better states. I think when most people think of New York, they just think of New York City, but like the actual state of New York itself is extremely beautiful. All right, North Carolina. I heard South Carolina's better, so we only need one of them. We're gonna put North Carolina and shouldn't exist in South Carolina and okay. North Dakota. Who the fuck even goes to North Dakota? I heard it's just literally nothing. South Dakota's where it's at, That being said, South Dakota is actually a pretty good state. I don't know what it's like living there, but visiting. I mean, Mount Rushmore and everything, dude. Yeah. Ohio? There's nothing to do there. Ohio kind of sucks. Sorry for anybody who lives in Ohio. Oregon or Oregon or whatever, however you want to say it. Their forests are pretty cool. I'm going to put them up there. Portland, I heard, is a very beautiful city. Pennsylvania, the name reminds me of Pencil and Transylvania, two places I don't really enjoy. So we're going to put them in the bad. Pittsburgh is cool, though. Rhode Island, this state is just so, it shouldn't even be a state. It's just like a town, pretty much. It's just so tiny. But we gotta put it in the best, because not only is it the smallest state, but it also is where Family Guy takes place. I know Quahog doesn't actually exist, but it's always good, because, Family Guy's one of the best cartoons out there, so I gotta pay respects to them. Tennessee, I don't really know what's out there. It seems like a pretty bad state. Texas, I'm gonna put it in pretty good. It's not like one of the best states, but it definitely is one of the better states. There's a lot out there to see. You can pretty much do anything out there. It's still pretty much the Wild West. Utah, they got a Salt Lake. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna put them in pretty good. They do have Mormons. Yeah, actually, we're going to change that. They have Mormons, so we're going to put them in the okay. But everything else is all right about Utah. Vermont, I think it's, it's pretty good. They've got Bernie Sanders as the senator. He's a pretty cool meme or whatever. That's all I really know about Vermont. I used to forget about it all the time on my tests. Virginia, it's bad. I heard they're, not only is it, extremely Confederate and shit, but, I've heard a lot of, terrible things about the education system there. My cousins live in Virginia. One of them actually said that a kid in her grade murdered another kid, and keep in mind, this was when she was, in 8th grade or some shit, so that's pretty creepy. Washington State, the state where Sasquatch lives, is absolutely the best. I have to put that hands down. Starbucks is from Washington. Washington has Seattle. It has some of the coolest forests, and it also is home to Sasquatch, allegedly. I'm not here to spread misinformation, but, you never know what's real and what ain't. West Virginia shouldn't exist. I mean, the mountains are beautiful, but I heard to live there is an absolute hellhole. It's one of the worst states to ever live in. Excuse me. Wisconsin is a pretty good state. I mean, I grew up in Wisconsin. The education I received when I was in elementary wasn't that great, but I mean, by God, are the hiking trails and the forests there very beautiful. I'm not much of a hiking person, but just looking at them outside the car, they've got nice bluffs and everything. Wisconsin's a good place to check out if you haven't. Wyoming, I wouldn't say it's one of the best, but it's definitely really good. I mean, Yellowstone, my dude, except, Yellowstone is a volcano, which is a sign of our impending doom, considering it's literally going to end the fucking world if it erupts again. That being said, Wyoming has some of the greatest sights to see in the United States. Absolutely beautiful. And with that, we have our tier list. Hopefully I did not offend anybody. I know I said this was going to be kind of satirical and not as serious, but I did have some serious takes on some of these states. But to be honest, who cares? I mean, It is what it is. I will see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.